This is a recording for the I Can Do Anything series of interviews, and this is a recording about the customer engagement team for Argyll and Bute Council.
Good morning, my name's Bob Miller. I'm the Customer Engagement Manager at Argyll and Bute Council, and I've been asked to talk to you today a bit about careers in the council, but specifically within my team. Now, ordinarily this would be a really busy office a year ago, but as you can see, we've all vacated the office and we're working from home, pretty much like you guys are at the moment. But what I wanted to stress was, it doesn't matter where you work, it's what you do. And so I wanted to explain a little bit more about what my team does and the council in general as well. Thank you.
So, what does my team do? Well, there's 89,000 people in Argyll and Bute of all ages who live in 48,000 houses, and there are over 6,000 businesses, all of whom require services from the council at some time or another. The council employs about 4,500 people. It also has a lot of robots as well, usually digital robots rather than physical robots, to help provide those services. So my job and my team's job in particular is to deal with all those requests for services that come in through the council. We try and make it as easy as possible for people to contact the council. And so we have a team of about 50 people who deal with the most of those initial requests. There are about 591,000 requests for services and requests for information over the past year. We then either provide the service or information that they need there and then, wherever we can, or we log it so that it can be done by another council team. What we do is really four things. We give information, we give lots of information because the council has many services, and we also transact various things on behalf of businesses and customers. Now, transactions can be as simple as logging a pothole that needs fixing, or it can be very complex, like a major planning application. We also help consult for the council on a whole range of different ideas, concepts, designs that need input from our population and from our communities. Because we in the council design a lot of the built space around about where we live, and we have a statutory responsibilities in this respect as well, and are the link between national government and local government. We also play a key role in promoting Argyll and Bute. We want to grow our population here, and we want more and more people to come to Argyll and Bute to help us thrive and prosper. So making Argyll and Bute a great place to come and work and live and play is very important. But it's not just about dealing with people that come to us and businesses that come to us. We need to get on the front foot and be proactive. Because the bottom line is, if we don't tell people what's going on, they get in touch with us, and that creates a lot of unnecessary demand. Whereas if we just go and tell people what's happening around the world, what's happening in our space, then it means that that demand is reduced, and we can get on with delivering quality services rather than just being reactive. So any one of our team will tell you there's a number of challenges in doing that. First of all, in the modern world, we don't just deal with telephones and emails like we used to. People want to interact with us in a variety of different ways. That can be through social media, it can be through the website, through bots on the website, it can be through text, it can be through voice. So there's a whole different channels that people in my team have to learn how to deal with. And how you interact with people differs on every single one of those. Similarly, we are, unlike many councils, have a huge geography that we cover. We have 23 inhabited islands, and we are the second largest council geographically in Scotland. So you have to get to know our geography so that when people report things to you, you know exactly where you are, and so that the service can be delivered to those places. And when I say services, there are over 400 services that the council delivers. Now, that can be things like education, it can be civil amenities like your bins and your street lights, it can be planning, building standards, regulation, shellfish exports, a whole range of licenses of all sorts of things, as well as our democratic services, of course. Although council officers run elements of the council, there are elected members who really make the decisions on the way that our council area is run. Of course, underpinning this are many IT systems. My team has 3 or 4 core systems that it runs, including the website, something called the Customer Relationship Management System, where all those jobs that I mentioned earlier on are logged, and then the system that controls all of those channels and routes the right piece of work to the right person within the team who has the capability for dealing with it. Of course, all of this is underpinned by and legislation, and we need to know that we're working within the requirements of the law. And those laws change all the time, so we need to keep up with them. Of course, recently with the COVID outbreak, there's a whole load of new COVID laws that have come in that we need to make sure we're abiding by, and that also the way we deliver our service is abiding by it. So that, for example, from an equalities point of view, we're making sure that we don't just concentrate on digital channels, because there are about 16% of our population who don't really do digital very well for one reason or another. So we need to provide alternatives for them. And then finally, another challenge that we deal with is working with our partners. The council doesn't work in isolation. It works with the police, the NHS, it works with a number of national bodies as well. And so we have to be keeping up with and helping them to do their job. For example, a common one is we get lots of reports for issues on our trunk roads. But actually, the council doesn't deal with trunk roads. The council only deals with local roads. The trunk roads are dealt with by Bear Scotland. We have to have a close relationship with them so that we can let them know if there's road closures or like potholes in the trunk roads, for example. We've got 50 people in the customer engagement team, but broadly they split into 3 core teams. The first one is our customer service agents. They are 19 staff. Now, they used to be based here in Argyle House in the contact centre, but now, of course, they're working from home. We also have 9 customer service points. They've largely been closed to walk-in public-facing traffic over the past year, but you can still get to them by appointment for important things like registering birthdays and marriages or licensing, for example. But they also deal with all the digital channels as well, and they work Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And last year they handled, through what we call mediated transactions, 149,000 inquiries last year. So they're kept very busy, but it's a wide range of work. They take inquiries on any of those 407 council topics that I mentioned, but they do have really powerful systems with scripting behind them to help them tell the right information at the right time to the right people. So they're very good at what they do. Alongside those are our digital and web developers, because of course we've got a whole range of systems that they don't require any human intervention. For example, if you want to make a payment to the council, you can go online and you can make that payment, and from it going to your bank to going into the council's bank, it never touches a human hand. But in between, there's a whole range of systems that need to be built in order to make that work. We also rely a lot on our voice automated systems for those people who don't like the website, so that you can phone us up and make a payment, for example, and it'll be a robot that will take that payment off you, a voice automated robot that will do that. But those bots also do a whole range of other things as well. And we have about 7 people in our digital and our web team who keep our website up to date and keep all of those digital services running and operating effectively, and of course introduce new ones all the time. And finally, we have the registrars. The registrars are a very specialist service. They deal with births, deaths, and marriages, something that happens to everybody at some point in their lives. They officiate at civil weddings. Of course, you can also have a religious wedding as well, but our officers, for people who don't want a religious wedding, can have a civil wedding, and they officiate at them. But we also do a lot of other things, such as civil partnerships, naming ceremonies, and do passport interviews for the passport service, so you don't have to travel to Glasgow. They charge for those services, and so they bring in over £300,000 of revenue and fees to the council. And the registrars are responsible not to the local council, but to the National Records of Scotland. So they have to uphold very high standards. So somebody once told me that an ideal job was where you are good at something and you like doing it, and they're combined into one job, and that you have a good boss as well. So that makes a perfect working environment. So for our customer service agents, if you wanted to be a customer service agent, what do you really need to be good at? What do you need to like to do? Well, you need to like making a difference to people's lives, because they come to you for help. So you must enjoy helping people as well. You need to be a good listener because you need to understand the questions that you're being asked, and what the person's problems are. Sometimes they may ask for one thing, but they actually need something else to solve that problem. You need to work well with other people. We're the front face of the council, if you like, but behind us are all those other council teams actually delivering the services that I mentioned earlier. And so you need to be a good listener, and you need to work well with others. You need to be calm. You need to be patient. Some people can get very vexed and anxious and uptight, sometimes downright abusive, and you need to be calm and patient, not lose your rag as well. And finally, nothing stays the same, so you need to be able to cope with change. And this year has been a great example of being able to do that, let's face it. The other thing that you need to be good at if you're a digital or web developer is a love of technology. You really need to like doing things digitally. You need to have an inquisitive mind and be able to solve problems. So, not just technical problems, but also what the best way to deliver a service is, in what order, and to make it as simple for the people who use it as possible to use. That involves a degree of creativity, both visual creativity and process creativity as well. Of course, rather than just being liking change, you need to lead change. You need to be able to go to the services in the council and say, what if we did it this way? Or I've seen this new piece of technology. Wouldn't it be great to help people if we did this or this instead? Now, people who are technically able like to get their head down and focus on the problem and work alone, but you also need to be able to work as a team to bounce ideas off each other for quality control, to make sure that your solutions are fit for purpose. And the one thing I have noticed about our digital and web developers, they hate being flummoxed. And by flummoxed, I mean stumped by a problem. So when they're presented with something, they need to find a way to fix it or put in a way of working around it, um, in order to be really happy in their work. They hate being defeated. Our registrars, well, they need to be good customer service agents as well, but a little bit more than that. Um, they need to kind of enjoy being at the centre of attention. After all, you can't stand up in front of a whole wedding party and deliver a wedding celebration without enjoying being at the centre of attention. You need, though, to be really good at detail because, like I say, when you're filling in someone's marriage certificate, for example, you can't afford to get the name wrong, or the birth or death certificates for those matters as well. You need to be a good planner. People come to our registrars to help them virtually plan their wedding. They want to know about what the options are for maybe an outside wedding versus an inside wedding, best time of year, and then, of course, our registrars know all of the best people to help with things like catering and things like that. So you need to be a good planner, help people plan, and have those good people skills to talk them through it, make the experience as sensitive and as rewarding as possible. And of course, the one thing I've noticed about my registrars is they love getting dressed up in their posh finery when they're doing the celebrations as well. So if you've got a good clothes sense, you'll be a great registrar. So the rewards are many. I think above all, the main thing is you get fulfillment through helping people, helping our communities, and knowing that you make a difference. And that's a big reward. Of course, you do get a decent rate of pay. The council has great terms and conditions, so we work flexible working hours. We have a large degree of job security, and by that I don't mean that you've got a job for life, but you maybe have an employer for life if you're willing to change as times change. For example, there's no typists anymore in councils. They went long time ago, but those typists are now doing a whole range of other things to do with the administration of all of the council's business. And above all, I think it's varied. Like I say, we've got 409 services, but within my particular service, if you saw what the slide that I just put up there, you've got a good range of technical skills, of people skills, and of participation in the wider life of our council and of our society. So, what I'd like to kind of finish off with is
So there you go. I hope that gave you a little bit of a
I
flavour
think that
of what
the
my
customer
team does and
engagement
what the
team at
council
council
does. The
is a
important
great
thing I
place to
think is
work.
to
The
remember
council is a
that
fantastic place to
the
work,
newest person
and
who joined
knowing that
my
you make a
team
difference
works up
is
in the Oban
hugely important.
service point. We're out of there
So,
normally,
I'll just finish off with a
and
little
he
bit.
joined just 6 months ago. The person who's worked with my team the longest actually retires this March. She's been in the council for well over 30 years, and I'm pretty sure that she will have probably registered the births of some of your mothers and fathers. So you can have a good long career in the council, and a very rewarding one, with lots of opportunities for people with different skill sets. So keep your eyes open for the future if you're interested in public service. Thank you.